bring up what you referred to just a short while ago about politics. In your address to the nation, you said we have to put politics aside, stop the partisanship, and unify together. But this morning, you criticized the Democratic governor of Michigan. Yesterday, it was the Democratic governor of New York. You've attacked Obama. You've attacked Biden. In fact, every day except one since that address, you've lashed out at a Democratic leader. Are you going to set the example?
I only do that when I have to respond. I watched her on television. She said something that was false, and therefore I did do that. And I will continue to do that. If they're not going to play fair, because, they have the media on their side, I don't. I just have me. And if they're not going to play fair, I'm going to do that. If they are going to play fair, there's going to be nobody better than Donald Trump in terms of bipartisanship. But if they're going to say things that are false, like the story that was written yesterday, a lot of people, I don't know, somebody, I think I know who, but they taped the conference call that I had with the governors. It was a good call. It was fine. I assume somebody's going to tape it. They handed it to various people, and one of them was the New York Times, and the New York Times chose to write totally inaccurately about it. It was a disgraceful thing. It was bad journalism, but, they do a lot of bad journalism. But we respond to that. And actually, people get it. People get it. No, I want it to be bipartisan, and nobody's going to be better than me. But when they attack me or the people, these incredible people behind me, I'm not going to let them get away with it. I can't do that.
You don't know irony until you've watched Donald Trump call for unity. And the best part is that only seconds later, in this same exact press conference, just after Trump got finished talking about unity, he dove right back in and attacked Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, Barack Obama, and the media.
I do have to say, when you talk about politics, I watched the debate. Not too exciting. But what they said about me, and we've done a great job. When you talk about not being bipartisan, what they said about me, and if you look at swine flu, the whole thing, and I guess it was 2009, and what they did and the mistakes they've made, they were terrible. They were horrific mistakes. 17,000 people died. And I'll be honest, they shouldn't be criticizing because we've done a fantastic job. The only thing we haven't done well is to get good press. We've done a fantastic job, but it hasn't been appreciated. Even the closing down of the borders, which had never been done, and not only did we close them, but we closed them early. The press doesn't like writing about it. So we've done a poor job on press relationships, and I guess I don't know who to blame for that. I don't know. Maybe I can blame ourselves for that. I will blame ourselves, but I think we've done a great job. I think we've done a poor job in terms of press relationship.
And by the way, this whole thing was set off by Trump's apparent need to respond to Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, who, according to Trump, said something so egregiously false that he had no choice but to respond. Here's what she actually said.
When we close the restaurants to dine in and we close all the bars, that is going to mean that people are going to lose their jobs and a lot of businesses are really going to struggle. We know this. But at the end of the day, we have to make decisions based on the best science, the best facts, and what is in the best interest of the public health. And places of mass congregation are where this virus continues to spread. In order to flatten the curve, we need to be aggressive on the front end. The federal government did not take this seriously early enough, and now it is on us to make sure we're doing everything we can based on the best facts and science available, and that we are always putting the health of our people front and center. So
that was what Trump apparently needed to respond to, despite his own calls for unity. And besides his own lack of self-control, it's made worse by the fact that she was right. The federal government didn't take it seriously. In fact, for weeks, Trump downplayed its severity and pretended it was totally under control when that couldn't have been farther from the truth.
Have you been briefed by the CDC?
I have.
Are there words about a pandemic at this point?
No, we're not at all, and we have it totally under control.
How concerned are you?
Well, we pretty much shut it down. A lot of people think that goes away in April with the heat, as the heat comes in. Typically, that will go away in April. We're in great shape, though. It's going to disappear. One day, it's like a miracle. It will disappear. They're going to have vaccines, I think, relatively soon. And they're going to have something that makes you better, and that's going to actually take place, we think, even sooner. So it's a lot of good things are happening.
Because a lot of people will have this, and it's very mild. They'll get better very rapidly. They don't even see a doctor. They don't even call a doctor. We have thousands or hundreds of thousands of people that get better just by sitting around and even going to work. Some of them go to work.
But as of right now and yesterday, anybody that needs a test, that's the important thing. And the tests are all perfect. Like the letter was perfect. The transcription was perfect, right? This was not as perfect as that, but pretty good.
Mr. President, what do you say to Americans who are concerned that you're not taking this seriously enough and that some of your statements don't match what your health experts are saying?
That's CNN, fake news. Go ahead, thank you very much. Be calm. It's really working out, and a lot of good things are going to happen.
My first question is, you said that you don't take responsibility, but you did disband the White House Pandemic Office, and the officials that were working in that office left this administration abruptly. So what responsibility do you take to that? And the officials that worked in that office said that the White House lost valuable time because that office wasn't disbanded. What do you make of that?
Well, I just think it's a nasty question, but it's something that we have tremendous control over.
Mr. President, the other day you said that you were not responsible for the testing shortfall. Very simple question. Does the buck stop with you? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your response to this crisis?
I'd rate it a 10.
And beyond downplaying this thing, Trump also eliminated the position of every global health and biodefense expert that was employed by the government back in 2018 before ordering the entire global health security unit shut down. He cut funding to the CDC's epidemic prevention programs in 39 out of 49 countries, including China. He declined tests from the WHO back in February that we could have used to figure out who had it so that we could contain the spread. He gave inaccurate information during a televised address to the entire nation that led to a run on the airports, where God knows how fast it was able to be transferred to more and more people. So when Governor Whitmer said that the federal government didn't take it seriously, that was generous. The federal government has exacerbated the problem. The federal government has sown chaos and confusion and doubt and misinformation. Trump doesn't need to defend himself. He needs to grow up and take responsibility and start doing his job. And by the way, he tries to frame this as an issue of the media not being on his side. But come on now, it's 2020. Trump isn't looking for honest reporting, he's looking for fawning coverage. He's looking for zero criticism, zero accountability, and zero pushback. Which is why the only people he's willing to promote are a bunch of sycophants who host opinion shows like Hannity and Judge Jeanine and Laura Ingraham. None of them are journalists, and there's a reason for that. If they had to actually abide by journalistic standards, there's no way they'd be able to grovel at Trump's feet like they do, because instead, they'd have to tell the truth. And if there's one thing that Trump will not tolerate, it's that. So Trump can strike up his faux somber tone and make his calls for unity and pretend suddenly that he's very, very concerned about a thing he pretended only a few weeks ago wasn't real, but he's not fooling anyone. He will continue to attack anyone not willing to be completely submissive. He will continue to blame Obama, who hasn't been in office for 3.5 years. He will continue to attack the media for asking him questions that need to be asked. He will continue to blame China because it takes the attention away from his own failure to contain the situation. At this point, it's become abundantly clear that the only way to achieve any degree of unity will be when Trump is no longer in charge.